Well, they say don't work with kids or animals, but now I think you can add chaotic robotic cameras to that list. ABC News' breakfast weather presenter Nate Byrne learnt that lesson live on air yesterday morning.
The wind is causing severe fire danger for the Euclid district in Western Australia. Broad area of very high fire danger around that as well. On the other side of the country, there's an east coast low. Excuse my camera, out of it. Now that's been battering the New South Wales coast with huge swells, likely to ease below 5 metres later today. Hey,
it was fun.
Serious stuff, right? Yeah, that's out of the way. But Darwin, like my weather, staying fine and sunny for 29.
Well done in challenging circumstances, Nate. We have the pushiest of cameras in this studio, hogging the limelight. You cannot believe what they're like. Well done.
I reckon
Well
it was
done,
the
Michael
shirt. He's wearing a nice shirt, and the camera was clearly attracted to him.
Oh, is that
rightfully
what
so.
it was? Robotic cameras do have the problem that there isn't an operator seeing where they're going sometimes. But Robbo, I think Nate handled himself very, very well there. You've done loads of live TV. Anything like that ever happened to you?
Well, it did. Unfortunately, there's a lot of things that have gone wrong. That's kind of my shtick, that things go wrong when I'm on live TV. But I'd actually went, thank you to you, Rob, actually, that I went to the Logie Awards a few years ago, which was just amazing. It's something that I wanted to do ever since I was a kid. And one wonderful ABC chair, Ita Buttrose, warned me the night before saying, Robbo, now don't get too drunk because there's lots of alcohol there. I said, yeah, it's fine, Ita, don't worry about it.
First, Logies, you have to get very drunk.
That's right. And I was sitting next to Ita the whole time. And every so often I'd get a little look from Ita going, Robbo, you're having, it's fine, Ita, have another drink with me. Anyway, the next day we had to do full live crosses from 8:30 a.m. At Crown Casino. And one of the challenges that happened is we needed to take burgers that had been cooked there to the studio in South Yarra. I was not in a good way. I'll tell you right now, when we arrived at the Crown from our hotel, I was vomiting in a bag in front of a bunch of cyclists. And then I had this challenge of running around everywhere with burgers. And then I finally got to Channel 10 with only a few moments to spare. This is what happened. It still breaks my heart. Have a look.
The show. Let's get him in there. Come on, Rob, over 2 minutes.
There he is playing to the camera.
This is, the
He
lift's
won't be
there.
able to
Let's
get
go,
up.
let's go.
He won't get up unless he's got a cast.
But I think Jack will meet him halfway.
Level 5, Robbo.
What makes it go faster?
You got it. Can you tell me level 5? Level 5. Oh, thank goodness. What's your name? Hunter. Do you work at Channel 10? At the project. You lost Studio 10?
Listen,
I've been watching it. Good. All right.
listen, see if he can get you up to 6.
Studio!
Oh, 6.
6.
Oh, my
This is so intense. Hunter, what's coming up on the project tonight?
Sam.
I love that. And Robbo, the story behind that is that we were only meant to do a 2-hour show from 8:30 or 2.5-hour show it was back then until 11 o'clock. And literally, I'm looking at my rundown thinking, I can't get through all this before 11 o'clock. And seriously, it would have been less than... It was after 10:55. I literally called up the head of programming, Bev McGarvey, and said, I need to go until 12. And she's like, all right. And so we just went, we're going till 12. And then then the audience were like, well, we're hungry. We want some food. And I went, oh, well, Robbo, there's a whole guy out there with burgers. Bring him back. And you were doing this dash across Melbourne. I'm not sure how legal it was. You did this complete dash across Melbourne in a car, in a taxi, to bring these burgers back, and you literally delivered them a second before we were out.
That's right.
What I also loved, Jack, who was the audience coordinator, came up in a different lift and actually got there before you, even though you were taking the first one.
I know, but a lot of people said to me, or they accused me of saying, "Oh, did you drop that on purpose?" I promise you, I was in such a bad way because when you said bring the burgers to the studio, we were running. I was sweating. I may have been, maybe a little hungover.
Definitely.
No one can confirm that. But when that happened, it broke my heart. When that happened and it fell off, and I was just like, oh my God, like what is happening? I'll tell you right now, I went straight home to the hotel and spent the day in bed not very well. I can promise you that.
I will tell you, Robbo, your first Logies, there is a tradition. First Logies, you get completely drunk. Second Logie, you're completely sober because you don't want a repeat of the previous Logies. And the third Logies, you find the balance. That's my experience. On my first Logies, I sat on Yana Vent's lap.
Oh, yeah.
Hugged Laurie Oakes. I got told off by Roy and HG. And then, yes, it was a very big night. I don't think I'm allowed to say any more of what happened that night. Amanda's sitting next to me. But the censor is in the room.
Yes, the Logies,
Now, Rob,
a chance for everyone to
obviously
lose their mind.
Yes.
That's right. So, Rob, though, we've had some pretty crazy and unpredictable times on Studio 10. One of them sticks out in your mind. Tell us about that.
Oh, Robbo, there's so many from Studio 10, but I think this moment where we had a dog on set, and I loved it. I always loved Graham Kennedy comedy.
The dog.
But when this happened, I was so happy.
You have to put little jackets on him and stuff?
Yes.
Tell them where he sleeps. He sleeps in bed.
Don't they all?
Exactly. He has pajamas.
Oh, yes.
Oh, isn't that gorgeous? That's okay. He's nervous.
That's a lot of poo.
That's okay.
He's nervous.
This is what happens when you work with animals on live television.
We do. We need a doggy bag.
Once again, Ita Buttrose is the voice of reason. We need a doggy bag. And fair enough, too. That was pretty
She
gross.
gets up every morning and walks her dog. She's familiar with picking up dog's poo. So that was her routine. She always used to say when she worked in magazines that was the first thing she did when she got out of bed was she'd take the dogs for a walk. So
That is exactly
she didn't look
right.
like she batted an eyelid.
No, she sure didn't. But you know who I batter an eyelid at? And that is when Rob doesn't turn his mic on.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome
Still
back.
hitting
Welcome
the wrong
back.
button. Well, that's all right because I was talking over Ben. That's why he didn't stop. I was concerned.
Is that unusual?
That is absolutely hilarious. It was such a fun day. And, people were telling me, get off, go to a commercial break. I'm like, no, absolutely not. Because every time we got dogs on the show, I would ask for the audience coordinator to give them lots of water, hoping to repeat the Graham Kennedy wee.
Rover or something when he
Yes,
peed
when
on the
Rover
camera.
weed all over the cameras. I was desperately trying to recreate that. And sorry, I've got my own audience of Amanda, so I'm always wondering how she's reacting to my stories. But yes, I got one better with that one, so it was fabulous.
It's the Ben, Rob and Robbo, Ben, Rob and